Now that the idea that investment and prices will be improved by net neutrality has been exploded, the Biden administration is coming back and saying that actually net neutrality is needed for national security reasons, which is entirely untrue. All of the powers that are conferred on the Federal Communications Commission by this net neutrality move are already, the administration already has through other means. So it's just because the left cannot abide, the Democrats cannot abide, that the main form of communication in the modern age is not something that they have their clutches on and control. They just want to get control of more parts of what we do and of more parts of commerce.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with Editor-in-Chief Hugo Gurdon. And Hugo, you wrote a column this past week about the Biden nanny state and some moves the Biden administration is making to expand government power that are a little less high profile, but nonetheless very intrusive to the free market. And one of them, let's start with the return of net neutrality.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary thing that the Biden administration and the left, the Democrats, have decided to return to a policy that has been from the Obama administration, which has been proven to be entirely unjustified. Net neutrality was sold during the Obama administration as making the internet more fair and access more equal. Rules were imposed, and what those rules actually did was to suppress internet investment, and investment actually grew and prices came down only after President Trump came to power and scrapped the Obama rules. Now that the idea that investment and prices will be improved by net neutrality has been exploded, the Biden administration is coming back and saying that actually net neutrality is needed for national security reasons, which is entirely untrue. All of the powers that are conferred on the Federal Communications Commission by this net neutrality move are already, the administration already has through other means. So it's just because the left cannot abide, the Democrats cannot abide, that the main form of communication in the modern age is not something that they have their clutches on and control. They just want to get control of more parts of what we do and of more parts of commerce.
Interfering further with the free market, the Biden administration is also banning non-compete contracts for companies. What will that accomplish?
Well, non-compete clauses in contracts are very troublesome. I mean, the Biden administration says that they get in the way of competition between companies. It's rather extraordinary that the government should be dictating or deciding what is good for competition. Generally, companies try and compete best for themselves, and if they find that non-compete clauses help them, that's probably what they'll do. Non-compete clauses can be a disincentive for people to accept a job. They don't like to accept a job where they've got a non-compete which is going to tie them down. So all the time, companies are making their individual decisions about whether they think the protection of their intellectual property requires a non-compete clause here, or whether the person is not actually going to be, the new hire will have possession of important intellectual property, and so they might not need one. So once again, it's a decision which individual companies, individual enterprises can make for themselves entirely without the government interfering, but the left and the Democrats want to intrude in more and more parts of commercial life, in more and more parts of private life.
They're doing so at the Department of Transportation, tackling the biggest issue facing the country, airline fees. What are they doing for airlines?
Well, they want to try and eliminate what they call surprise fees that people get. And for example, they don't want parents to have to pay extra to be seated next to their children on flights. This is an extraordinary level of micromanaging. They are going to mandate, Pete Buttigieg, the department secretary, wants to mandate better access for people in wheelchairs. The thing is, everybody knows, it's an old maxim that there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's no such thing as a new free service in a commercial enterprise. What will happen is that airline fees will go up. It's just that we're coming up to an election, and the Biden administration, every department in it, no doubt, wants to make it look as though the Biden administration is making life better for ordinary people. And of course, airline fees irritate people, so it looks as though what's being provided is something that is just good for everybody. But it isn't. It'll just push up airline fees.
If all of these moves are designed to give voters the impression the Biden administration is making life better, why this flurry of activity now? Why not wait till closer to the election where it's fresher in voters' memories?
Well, the Congress, under current legislation and current law, has the opportunity to look back at legislation, and within a 60 legislative days period, it can undo regulations. And one of the things that the Biden administration wants to do is rush these things into law now so that the new Congress doesn't have the opportunity to overturn these things should, for example, the election not go Biden's way.
Sneaky from the Biden administration. Well, Hugo, thank you so much for being here today. You can get more writing from Hugo and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.